Nostalgia, Markiplier, by Sarah X. Lynn. We sat on the grass at the top of the hill, and there was no tension between us, just nostalgic thoughts weaved in between regret and guilt. Straggling tears had cascaded over my cheeks as we sat in silence, but not enough to cause my chest to tighten and for me to sob, but enough that I had to wipe under my eyes every couple minutes. "Do you ever think of how happy I made you then?" he asked. I saw through my peripherals that he had turned his head to face me, but I didn't dare meet his gaze. I remained silent and looked down at the grass poking through my fingers. "I do. You used to love me so much." He was right. "Mark, please," I said, just above a whisper. "I look back at us a lot, you know, how happy we were, or I guess, how happy I was." I looked up and allowed the wind to dry my eyes. "I've told you, I was happy. I was happy, Mark. So goddamn happy, but—" I took a deep breath. "But feelings change. People change. I get it," he cut in. "Everything changes." "I miss you," he admitted. "No, you don't. You stared at me with a blank face when I told you it was over. You couldn't care less." He ran his fingers through his hair and lightly tugged out the frustration. "I was scared, okay? I didn't know what to do. You were my comfort zone. You were everything I had ever known. I freaked out. I didn't know how to deal with it." I sighed. "Well, that way wasn't the right way." He nodded and pushed his glasses to the correct place on the bridge of his nose. "What do you miss about us?" I inquired. "I miss how soft your hair felt against my fingertips." He laughed sadly, and I saw him quickly wipe his left eye. "Before." I looked down at her, her head positioned in my lap, her eyes shut peacefully, her breathing steady. She was beautiful, and I doubted that anyone was more lucky than I was at that very moment. I slowly moved my arm, careful not to disturb her, and gently ran my fingers through her hair. She moved slightly at the contact, but not much. Her hair was soft and delicate, just as she was, and the way she felt against my skin was something I would never change for anything. "You really like that?" I bit my lower lip and avoided eye contact. "You falling asleep on me was the best thing. You were comfortable enough to know that I wouldn't let you fall, that I would keep you warm, and I would take care of you. You trusted me." I nodded. "And what else?" "I miss your want to be with me." "Before." "Mark, think about it. What if we just, ran away and got married, eloped?" I thought about it for a moment, but then I knew it wouldn't be right. I don't. Do you not want to marry me one day?" She was wrong. Oh, she was wrong. I wanted nothing more than to see her walk towards me in a long white gown accompanied by her father, who would then pass the treasure from his hand to mine. "It's not that. It's just—" "What?" she asked, her eyes swelling with tears. "I feel as if marrying you now would be caging a bird that was meant to fly." She cocked her head and allowed the stray tears to fall. "We're young, and you have so much ahead of you. I don't want to hold you back." She grabbed my hand in hers. "It's just a piece of paper and a ring, Mark. There'd be no difference from now and then." Perhaps she was right. "I really wanted marriage, huh?" I murmured. "That's not a bad thing. I love that you wanted me." He opened his mouth as if to speak, but nothing came out. "What?" He rubbed his eyes and started to stare as I stared at him. "I'm thankful I didn't agree so fast to marry you. I knew it. I would have been holding you back. That's not why this happened, Mark. You know that." He wiped his face and adjusted his glasses. "Yeah." "Can I say something weird?" I laughed and cleared my throat. This whole thing is weird. Go for it. I'm going to miss fighting with you. I looked at him as if he had two heads. I had no idea what he meant. Let me explain, he began. Before. Babe, let me explain. Mark, you don't need to explain anything. She threw my phone down on the bed and grabbed a coat off the back of the bedroom door, slinging it over her. Please, it's not what you think it is. A girl called your phone. I answered. She asked for you, and she wouldn't let me deliver a message. It's obvious you're cheating on me, Mark. She rushed towards the front door and wrapped her shaking fingers around the doorknob. I quickly reached out and covered her hand with mine. She's from work. She scoffed and pushed my hand off hers, opening the door and fearlessly running out into the rain. I had no option but to chase her. As she got to the middle of the sidewalk at the end of the driveway, I was forced to jog in an attempt to catch her. Please. I grabbed her arm, and she violently shrugged it off. She's from work, and it's company policy to not... Whatever, Mark. It's... Her body started to jolt as she sobbed, and it was at that moment that I couldn't tell the difference between her tears and the rain. It was beautifully terrifying. Fighting with you almost made me feel alive, you know? I laughed and shook my head. No, I don't. I could see a light brush creeping onto his cheeks as he explained himself. It was terrifying fighting with you, because I was so scared to lose you. Sadly, it happened anyway. But, still, you made me feel something. And even though I was scared shitless at that moment, I look back now and appreciate all the times you screamed at me. I picked up my hands and wiped the loose pieces of grass off my palms. This was nice. Weird, but nice. He nodded, and I slowly rose to my feet. Thank you, he murmured. I could see his arms slightly raise as if he wanted to hug me, but decided against it. I wish he had. God, if only I could tell him why things had to be this way. Thank you for listening. This has been Nostalgic Markiplier by Sarah X. Lynn. If you guys like this, please make sure to favorite it, follow the channel, and continue listening to my podcast. Thank you guys so much, and I'll be back with another podcast soon. Thank you.